Hello, women. Welcome to She Talks, a space for you to come home to your inner wisdom, or your she. I'm Sara Avant, a yoga and meditation teacher, best-selling author, and spiritual guide for women. I created this podcast because I wanted to offer Dharma talks, or wisdom teachings as they're called in the Buddhist tradition, through the distinct lens and voice of the sacred feminine. Because I believe that when a woman gets still and quiet enough to hear the voice of the divine within her, she can finally download the guidance she needs to become the most magnificent expression of herself possible, and in turn, inspire others to do the same. Throughout both the first halves of November and December, I'm offering a special series here on the podcast called Dakini's Den. In Tibetan Buddhism, dakinis are manifestations of awakening, appearing in feminine form. And Dakini's Den was the name of the monthly class and Dharma talk I gave in this year's 9-month women's spiritual practice community, the She School, and its mastermind component, the She Leadership Circle. These talks were a favorite both for me and the women in the programs, and I'm going to share several excerpts with you here over the next month. I also created this series in honor of the opening of the latest evolution of the She School. This year, it will be a 12-month program called A Year of She, and this is the 8th year that I've been leading some version of this. A Year of She is for women who want to make their spiritual practice the foundation of their life in 2019. And its mastermind level, the She Leadership Circle, is for women who want to apply their spiritual insights to their careers for more impact, creativity, and service. Early registration with special gifts and discounts closes on November 16th, and then regular registration closes on December 13th. To learn more, head to ayearofshe.com. That's ayearofshe.com. And for now, welcome to Dakini's Den. Hi again. I wanted to jump in before I share today's talk to let you know that this is an excerpt from one of the classes that I taught in this year's mastermind program, the She Leadership Circle. So it will be a little bit different than the other talks I've been sharing from A Year of She. And the She Leadership Circle is for women who are looking for more support and guidance as they continue on their spiritual journeys and start to weave deeper elements of spirituality and feminine energy into their work. So it's a place to unravel layers, reconnect to your inner guidance, release attachment to your ego, and really lean back into and trust your feminine energy while still being powerful and possibly even disrupting the status quo, which is what I like to do. And you may be at a point where you're ready to level up in your work and to help more women at a deeper and higher level. And maybe you're realizing that spirituality is a huge component of your life and you want to add more of it into your work as well. You may be very strongly called to the areas of women's leadership and spirituality, and you know that you really can't take your clients further than you've gone yourself. So in the She Leadership Circle, in addition to these classes like that I'm going to share an excerpt from with you, you have access to the entire curriculum of A Year of She. You have 3 one-on-one mentoring calls with me. You have 6 live group mastermind calls. And the mastermind is a 6-month program. It starts January 1st and it runs to June 30th of next year. You have monthly project planning worksheets, and these help you to get organized and clear about what you're doing each month, what you're creating, because at the start of our mastermind, you'll choose one project that you want to bring into completion. That could be an online course, it could be a book proposal, it could be a retreat, it could be anything that you want. We'll have 3 creation days, and these structures in the creation days is what has allowed me to write my books, to create my podcast, to create programs, and to plan and host retreats. And I share that with all of you. This was one of the biggest hits in this year's She Leadership Circle. And you also have accountability and support partners. So each month you'll be paired with another woman in the mastermind for listening and accountability in between the monthly calls with me. We have a private Facebook group to network and support each other as you bring your projects into the world. And we also have a business book of the month because I'm a huge geek when it comes to reading. I'm always reading several books, and I share with you some of my favorite ones on career, money, creativity, business. And one woman in last year's course said, I surprised myself by reading most of them and found them all really helpful. So that's a little taste of the She Leadership Circle. It is a very intimate group by application only. So if you are interested in applying, you can head on over to ayearofshe.com. And now for today's talk from this year's She Leadership Circle. Enjoy.
I want to talk today about something that is really strongly emerging in the zeitgeist. It's definitely, I don't remember this being here in this way even a year ago. Definitely not when I started out connecting to the world more through the online realm just over a decade ago. This is really shifting, and it's a beautiful thing. And I think that if we want to really ride the wave of what is emerging in the world, it's important for us to be aware of this and to take our place in it. It can feel isolating to be a solopreneur, a business owner. Can be a lot of hours, even if you work with clients, even if you sometimes work in an office environment, even if you sometimes work with groups, either small or large, you're together with them. There's also a lot of time spent alone, doing things for your website or writing something or doing class plans and things like this. And what is emerging now is togetherness. And I think it was the Dalai Lama who said that to really bring world peace, we need to start looking at neighboring countries or other countries as our domestic partners. And you think about a domestic partner, and there's really ideally, in a healthy relationship, there's a shared vision, there's shared values, there's a sense of mutuality, like we're in this together. There's a sense of, if both of us don't win, then none of us wins. And imagine a world where different countries related to one another in that way. We would have a very different world. There'd be a sense of togetherness, like we're all in this together. We're all living on this planet called Earth. This is all of our homes. And what can we do to really serve the health and happiness of our home and all of its inhabitants? The times that we're living in are asking us not to be about me, I, mine, but for us to be about the we. And for too long, we've been in the realm of I. What do I want? How can I be happy? How can I get what I want out of life? And this feeds into a lot of the problems that we found ourselves in the world, where the world really runs around money and who can get ahead and how much can they have to get ahead, rather than on values of togetherness, beauty, harmony, where there are other elements of abundance that are celebrated, where people come together and make art and enjoy music and good food and connection and relationships. We live in a very lopsided world right now. And this being all about the I makes us very prone to competition, comparison, arrogance, greed, and at the other end of the spectrum, loneliness and doubt and exhaustion and a feeling that we're not good enough, that we need to prove ourselves, that we need to do something externally in order to know our own value. Right now, most of the world's structures are falling apart, from education to the medical system to the environment to race relations. And this can be a time of profound fear, or if enough people choose it, it can be a time of profound love and connection and healing. With what is happening in the world right now, we're really being asked to come together to implement solutions to the world's problems. These aren't things that solopreneurs can do. Just me working at home on my computer and working on my mission. It needs to be groups of people coming together to serve a greater whole. And nature does this inherently. If we look at Colorado, and right now it's the autumn season, and aspen trees in Colorado, and it's long been known that aspens are the largest living organism on this planet, not because of their population above ground, but because of how their roots interconnect with each other. They're supporting each other below the surface. When we work together, we are mighty. And I know I've mentioned this example before, but I think it's a really recent case of seeing this in action, is the soccer team that was trapped in a cave in northern Thailand. How to save those boys and their coach. It wasn't just one person who sat down and tried to figure out the problem. It was people from all over the world, combining their talents, their gifts, their minds, bouncing ideas off each other, flying in to this town in northern Thailand and working together beyond their national boundaries, beyond their religions or ethnicities. We need to step back and see, what is my part in the greater whole? Not just how can I get what I want out of life, but what can I contribute to the greater whole? Because ultimately, each of us chose to be alive at this time. And this is a very specific time in history. We're not in the same world that we were in a year ago, 2 years ago. We're starting to see that the repercussions of thinking, well, someone else will take care of it, or, we can deal with this later. Where we are now, there is no later. There is no later. Like, we're at the edge of the cliff, and enough of us need to rise up and say, no, we're not going over that cliff. And to bring together the best of the human being, the best of this species. We have yet to see that. We've seen the worst of this species, for sure. But what would it look like if the best of the human species came together in collaboration in service of the larger whole? There has yet to be a mass awakening on the planet in the history of this planet's existence. So each day, let your prayer be a prayer to life. Like, what can I do to serve the greater good? To be part of the solution that the world is needing right now. Because if we're not asking that question, then we're actually part of the problem. If you're not angry and using that anger as fuel to take action in the world with others, there's deep denial happening. So again, we all chose to be born at this time. Our souls know the reason why. Our personalities may not. And to know those reasons why, and to know our own place within this larger spectrum of humanity, is to listen deeply. And then to act upon that deeper knowing. And to not think that you're not part of the solving of the world's problems. You're not part of the answering of the prayers of thousands. It's quite the opposite. Each of us has a very specific part to play. Each of us is needed for the salvation of the world. Each of us has specific gifts that we can contribute. And this doesn't mean that you turn away from paying your bills and putting food on the table and supporting your family financially, emotionally, physically. We do that, and we also extend our reach outwards to also tend to our global family. So this is a call as we are emerging out of the She Leadership Circle to really come out of our isolated corners and look to see, how can I build things with other people? How can I extend a branch of my tree out, or sticking with the metaphor of the aspen trees, how can I extend my roots further down to connect with other trees? How can I do things that are we, not just I? And I don't have the answer for that. That again, it's a really intimate question that the answer to it is only lives in Source, in the divine, and it's through our unique, individual, personalized connection with that Source that we receive the instructions for our assignment. Because our assignment is not just for us to be happy. Our assignment is to be happy while serving the larger happiness of others. Service is the highest expression of a human being. So to lead is to serve.
If you're inspired to live these teachings in your daily life, come on over and explore A Year of She at ayearofshe.com. This is a 365-day course with women's yoga classes, meditation, Dharma talks, community, seasonal living, and so much more. We're a sisterhood that doesn't just talk about things, we actually practice. And this isn't about crystals and rituals, although we love those things too. But it's about genuinely working with your own energy, because the real power isn't in things outside of you, however wonderful those things are. The real power is in you, and it's a rare woman who really lives that. Remember, registration is only open once a year, which is right now, and our 12-month journey starts on January 1st. It would be an honor to support you in stepping into your strength, feminine wisdom, and power in the year ahead. Until next time, I am sending you my heartfelt support. Thank you so much for being part of our sisterhood.